Welcome to the Women's Connection. I'm Barrie-Louise Switzen, your moderator. The Women's Connection is a program about events shaping women's lives and helping one gain authentic power on a personal or professional level. So won't you stay tuned? Some things go bump in the night. And when it happens to you, you're like startled out of your deep sleep. Such a thing happened to me, so I called on a Ghostbuster by the name of Echo Bodine. Echo, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very nice to be here.
Thank you. You've got quite a lot of talents.
Yes.
You're a Ghostbuster.
Mm-hmm.
You're a psychic, a spiritual healer,
Mm-hmm.
a teacher, and an author.
Yes.
Other than that, you don't do anything.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's go back to one of your talents.
Okay.
You're a Ghostbuster.
Yes, I am.
Which draws smiles from everyone when I say I'm interviewing you.
Yeah.
What exactly is a ghost?
What is a ghost? A ghost is a soul of someone who chooses not to go on to the other side, and they choose to remain earthbound. Very simple. That's
Very
what they
simple.
Are. They are a spirit. They are a soul who just doesn't want to go to the other side, so they stay here.
Okay, so you're a Ghostbuster,
Mm-hmm.
so what do you do?
Well, Barry, what we do is, when I say we, I'm talking about my brother Michael and I. We go into these homes, and what we're doing is we're looking, we just go from room to room, and we look for a ghost. And what a ghost looks like, contrary to popular belief that they look like Casper, they don't. They actually look just like people. And they're in people's attics and basements, and they hang out in all different kinds of places in people's homes. And they look like people, except that they're transparent, and so that's what we're looking for. It's just people.
Now, when I got bumped in the middle of the night, I opened my eyes and it was like, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of my bed, I saw like a woman's head floating by.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is, you know what? That is more common than you might think. People will say to us all the time, I saw a head floating, or I saw, a lot of people see like the middle up of a body, and they'll just see it floating through the room. That doesn't mean that their whole form isn't there, but that's as much as they were able to make visible. So it was just one experience that you had?
Just one
time?
experience.
And
it
she
was like
bumped your bed?
she bumped me.
She bumped you. Okay.
I got bumped.
And did she look familiar to you?
Well, that's the thing. I was trying to figure out if she did look familiar.
Yeah.
And no.
No.
I mean, it was dark hair. I've got dark hair.
Okay.
I couldn't see the features. It was
Okay.
long.
Okay.
And that
Okay.
was the only time it happened. It was just, it
Pretty
startled
strange.
me.
Okay. Well, maybe, sometimes they do it just to get people's attention, and maybe even just wake you up to the whole idea that they exist. Maybe that's what led to me coming on the show, so that we could talk to people. Because the thing that is good about talking about this topic is that a lot of people have an experience like you have,
Mm-hmm.
and then they think they're crazy, and they think that they better not tell anybody at work or their family, because their family will think they're crazy. And then they turn on a show like yours and they go, wait a minute, she saw that? Well, maybe I'm not so crazy. So, it's shows like this that will slowly educate people that they're not crazy, they're not hallucinating, they're not seeing something that isn't real. These ghosts are real. These souls, these earthbound spirits are real.
Well, can you see them during the day, or do they only come out at night?
No, I see them whether it's daytime or nighttime. The reason I think that we're more aware of them at night, Barry, is because the house is quiet, all the lights are down, we're in bed reading or we're watching TV, and suddenly we're aware of something. Whereas during the day, the kids are running in and out, and there's, the phones are ringing and lights are on, but they're still there during the day. We just see them at night.
Because it's kind of like, all right, can everyone see them?
No. The majority of people that have ghosts don't see them, but they hear them. They either hear voices, or they hear footsteps, they hear banging on the walls. Ghosts will turn people's light switches on, off, radios, TVs, computers, burners on stoves. We've seen some
That's
ghosts
dangerous.
Yeah, I know. We've seen some ghosts that turn water faucets on or off. one house we did, they turned the waste paper baskets upside
Oh,
down.
geez.
And the people would come home, and like once or twice a week, their stuff would just be all over, and their waste paper baskets were upside down.
So what do you do? How do you get rid of them?
Well, what we do is when we go into the rooms and we find them, we just walk right up to them, just treat them like people, and just say, "What's your name?" And what I think is interesting is they usually just give us a first name,
Uh-huh.
very seldom give us a last name, and just say, I don't want to go over there because I did some things bad when I was living, and I don't want to get sent to hell. Okay, so a lot of them
Aw.
think that way.
Okay.
A lot of them think that God is an angry or punishing God, and they'll say, well, I just think God's really mad at me for the way I lived my life, so I'm just going to hang out here. And as long as I'm here, in this lady's pantry or in this person's attic or in their basement, God can't find me. That's what a lot of them think that way. Others, believe it or not, say, well, I don't want to go over there because my ex-husband is over there and I hate my ex-husband and I don't want to go anywhere where he is. Or I hated my mother, I hated my sister. I remember this sweet little old lady. She was a ghost, and I asked her name was Eva, and I said, Eva, why won't you just go to the other side? Because my sister was really mean to me, and my sister's dead, and I don't want to go anywhere where she is. And so she was living in this old abandoned farmhouse, and she was looking out a window, and I just happened to see her when we were driving by one day. And so then I said to my boyfriend, let's go back to that house. I swear there was a ghost looking out that window. And we went back and we walked in, and I saw this old lady just standing there looking out the window, just lost. She just looked so in a daze, and that's when I said, what's your name? Why won't you go to the other side? Didn't want to see her sister.
How do you help somebody to go to the other side?
Well, we talk them into the other side. We say, okay, can you see that white light? And every one of them can see the light, and they go, yeah. Okay, well, I want you to walk towards that light. No, I don't want to go. So it's more, Barry, it's almost more like ghost counseling than ghost busting. I mean, how can you really bust a ghost, You can't, contrary to the movie, you can't just grab them and put them in your pack on your back and put them in the incinerator someplace. I mean, these are really people, these are souls who are afraid, or they've got a misconception about heaven or about God. We've met ghosts who sometimes, I mean, they're in such denial about their death that they've convinced themselves that they're still living, and so you have to convince them, no, you've died. And our job is to convince them to go to the other side, is to convince them to get on with their life.
Well, let's say I see this ghost again.
Yeah.
What would I do?
What you would do is you would just say, excuse me, ma'am, it appears that you're lost, and I really want you to turn and go straight to that white light. That's where you can start a new home. You can go look for your family members, your friends, and the best thing you can do for you and me is to go towards that light, because I really don't want you here in my home. And we need to say it, though, with firmness. We can't be like wimpy about it, like, oh, it would be really good if you'd go. It's like, no. They need to go to the white light, and we need to be really firm and say that to them.
Can they be dangerous?
Well, I have met, I have met 3 ghosts in my career as a Ghostbuster. 2 ghosts tried to push me down the steps.
Wow.
Yeah, and what was interesting about the woman is that that's how she died, was someone had pushed her down these really steep stairs at a bar down in Kentucky. And so now she just stands up at the top of the stairs and tries to push women. She only does it with women down the stairs. And that was a really interesting experience for me, because she came up from behind me and scared the heck out of me. I was looking down these stairs thinking, oh my God, I don't want to walk down those stairs. They were so, the step part was so thin, and I just thought, those are so dangerous. And they went like straight down, and I didn't have much choice. I was there, the TV show Sightings?
No.
Okay. Well, it was anyway, a few years ago, they had a TV show called Sightings, and they always found like the best places, the best haunted places. And I came around this corner and I looked down these stairs and thought, oh man, all right, just go down the stairs. And that's when she came up from behind me, and I saw this woman, and I felt her hands on my back try to push really hard. And I turned around and I looked at her because her face was right there, and I just yelled at her, what in the heck did you do that for? And I scared her because I could see her. And she just like bolted around the corner. And then I explained to the producer, and then that's when he told me, he said, we just wanted to see if she would try to push you down. That's why we didn't tell you about her. But
Oh, how
he said,
nice.
yeah, he said that's what she does, is she stands at the top of the stairs and tries to push women down there all the time. And there was another ghost in Minneapolis.
Wait, back up a second. Were you able to get rid of her?
No, they didn't want me to get rid of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just wanted me to go in and identify these ghosts.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people, they don't want, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but let me say about a third of the people don't want us to get rid of their ghosts. They just want to identify them, why they're there, are they dangerous to the family. And some people will say, you know what, they're like a pet. I mean, we would feel lost if we didn't have George here or Sylvia. And
For
so,
heaven's sakes.
as long as they're not going to hurt the kids or the dog or us, you can leave them here.
Now, is there a benefit to having ghosts around?
Not really. Not really. I can't really think of any benefit to having a ghost around. They're really stuck individuals who, you know, they get restless, they get cranky, they're depressed. They're just not happy people to be around, so I can't think of any good reason.
Yeah, because the ghost that bumped me, it was very... mean wasn't the right word, because there wasn't a lot. It was sad. It was like eerie. It was...
Exactly.
I don't know. And you couldn't really see the features of the face.
Yeah, okay.
So, on one hand, I think it's a woman.
Yeah.
But if it was a different time period, it could have been a man.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was quite an experience.
I know. They have this kind of cold, dead
look.
Stuck.
Yeah.
Just drawn. Yeah. They're not happy looking.
Well, I know in your book, Dear Echo, you've got some hints on how to tell them to move over to the other side. So I did that, and hopefully they're gone. Because, I mean, I've never seen this ghost since. I can't say person because I don't know male or female.
Okay.
But I haven't seen it.
Good.
Since.
Good. I'm glad I'm glad that they were helpful to you. There is a piece section in there for people if they think that they do have a ghost. Just simple tips as to how to get rid of them, because you know, the problem with having a ghost in your house is that a lot of people give ghosts a lot of power, and they think that they're these all-powerful beings that can see all and know all, and that's just not the way it is. And
if there was an advantage to them, I'd have a lot.
Right.
So I wouldn't mind them.
That's right. But there isn't an advantage, and so it is important to get them to move on. Just because it's like it's almost like if a complete stranger just walked in your house tonight and said, "Well, I'm just going to live here if you don't mind," and just took up residence. You know, you'd go, "No, you know what? I do mind, and I want you to leave. I want you to go find your own home." And that's how people have to think of ghosts.
Okay. Were you ever stumped?
Yeah, there's been a few times where we've had some very adamant ghosts who just say, "No, you can't make me go. I'm not going to go." And we have spirit guides that work with us, and so we'll ask our guides, "Okay, what are we going to do?" And there was one guy. His name was Roy. He was just a mean, cantankerous old ghost, and he actually was trying to push the children in this family down the stairs.
Oh.
And he was trying to scare the kids so much that the parents would move out of this house. And he said to us, "You know, I just want this family out of here. I don't like them. I don't like those kids." And he said to us, "You can't make me go to the other side." And we said, "Well, you know, you're right, Roy. We can't make you go to the other side. But it would be really smart if you went to the other side." And he just said, "I'm not going, you can't make me." And he went up to the top of the stairs, and I looked at my brother like, what are we going to do? And this was so clever. My brother started talking to his spirit guide and said, "All right, you guys got any suggestions?" And they said, yeah, he had a dog named Copper when he was living. Copper is now dead, and Copper is over on the other side. And they said, we'll go get Copper and bring him here, and then you can just tell him that if he wants to be with Copper, he needs to go over the other side. And it was like, oh, are you clever or what? And so they left the room. My brother said, hey, Roy, did you used to have a dog? And suddenly this mean, arrogant guy turns around and just gets as soft as a little kitten and says,
Aw.
well, yeah, I did. And my brother says, what was his name? Copper. And then right then, this golden retriever, the soul of a golden retriever came bouncing into the room. And this guy, he just got down on his hands and knees right away, and he was playing with his dog, and, oh, Copper, Copper. And he was so happy. And my brother said, Roy, we got a problem here, he says, because Copper needs to go back over the other side. He really loves it over there. He's got friends and other dogs to play with. And he said, you know, if you want to hang out with him, you need to go with him. And Roy was mad. He said, you know, you tricked me. And and Michael said, hey, buddy, we're just trying to get you to leave this place because you're stuck and you shouldn't be here. And why don't you go over there and be with your dog? And he did go. So it was pretty cool.
That was a nice story.
Yeah.
How can we protect ourselves from unwanted intruders?
Well, you know, we all have guardian angels. All of us have either spirit guides or guardian angels. And people can just ask their guardian angels, please protect my home. I don't want any ghosts in here. I don't want any unwanted spirits roaming the halls of my house. And
Wait,
they'll usually take care of it.
What's the difference between a spirit and a ghost?
A spirit is usually, well, when we talk about them, we think of spirits in terms of the souls that have gone over to the other side and have started a new life,
All
right?
right.
And they might come back over here just to visit, like our deceased loved ones can do that, and they would be called a spirit. A ghost is the same thing. They're also a spirit, but they're an earthbound spirit.
Now, how did you start to become attuned to ghosts and spirits and develop your psychic ability?
I actually took classes for about 2 years to develop my abilities, and I had a lot of fear about seeing spirits. I didn't really know what to expect, and I guess I thought maybe they were going to be scary or evil or something. I didn't know. It took me a while to really open myself up to the idea that there are spirits out there and ghosts. And, you know, Barry, the first time that I ever saw a ghost, I didn't even know it was a ghost. We went to this friend of my mom's house, and I walked up to her attic, and I was expecting to see something like Casper, you know, like a white filmy thing,
Right.
kind of floating towards me. And when I looked around this lady's attic, and I saw a man and a woman and a daughter and a son just standing there, but they were transparent. And I remember thinking, okay, now there's some people standing over there, but okay, where's the white blobby thing? You know, and it didn't
You didn't
occur to me.
connect.
No, I didn't know that a ghost was simply the soul of someone. And so I think that night we said to these people, you know, you can't stay here. Oh, okay. So they went through the wall of this house, and we thought, okay, there, we got rid of them. And but you know, as soon as we left, they just came right back in. And I think it was probably 2 or 3 more times of those kinds of experiences when I realized, wait a minute, these ghosts are souls, and they're people, and they don't look like Casper. They don't look like a white filmy sheet floating through somebody's house. They look just like folks. I mean, and if you see these ghosts, most of them have on blue jeans or a dress, just a regular. They have on regular clothes, and again, they don't look cheerful. They're not happy.
When you say they speak to you,
Yeah.
do you hear a voice through your ears, or do you hear a voice through your head, your psychic?
Yeah. You know how it works is spirits don't communicate with an audible voice like ours. They think thoughts to us.
Right.
So they send thoughts to us. And I didn't understand that for a while either. And the first night that we saw these ghosts or these spirits or these souls, I remember looking at this this family of 4, and I just had the thought, I wonder why they're over there. And into my head came a thought, but it was a female thought, and she said, he won't let us go to the other side. And I thought, what, what? What is she talking about? And because her lips weren't moving. So I didn't understand what was going on. And then she said, my husband was an alcoholic. He was smoking a cigarette. He passed out. We all perished in the fire, and he won't let us go to the other side because he's afraid he's going to get sent to hell. Now, all this just came in as a thought, but I knew it was coming directly from that female. And so that's when it was like, wait a minute, this is what my teacher said. It comes in as thoughts, not an actual voice. Now, I have heard spirits use an actual audible voice too. But, you know, like if you hear your name being called in the middle of the night or...
Yes.
Yeah. But you know what? That's very rare that's how spirits communicate to us. Usually it's through thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So don't be scared.
No, don't be scared. As a matter of fact, stand up to them and just say, you know what, you're not invited in, you're not welcome in my home, and I want you to leave right now, and I want you to go to the white light. A lot of times they just need guidance as to, okay, where am I supposed to go? Okay,
They
you
got
don't want me
stuck,
here,
so-
but go where? And so just say, and just talk matter of fact, like, I always think of the white light as the light on the front light at the front door of the other side, and I just tell them, all right, I want you to go to that white light. It's like the front door, or the front light is on, and just go towards that light, and then you'll be home.
Do deceased loved ones come back to visit?
Yes, they do.
How do we know when
They
they
do.
come back to visit?
You know how? It's very simple. If let's say you're in the kitchen, you're doing dishes, and all of a sudden, into your mind comes the thought of grandpa or grandma or mom or dad or cousin, whoever. And then you just get this kind of really sweet, nice feeling, and then it's gone. That's usually them.
Oh, really?
They've just come in, and they're saying hi to you. Hi, it's mom. Hi, it's dad. It comes in as a real quick thought, and then it goes. And that's how we can tell. And that's how we can tell the difference between a ghost and a visiting loved one, is that their name will come into our head, and it'll feel nice. It'll feel loving. Whereas with a ghost, it doesn't feel loving. It just feels cold. Just a blank experience. Although you can tell that somebody's watching you, or you can feel that somebody's in the room with you.
Let's go back to the spirits when a loved one comes.
Yep.
Do they tell you things? Can they?
They can try.
Help you?
But
All
the
right.
problem, Barry, is that we block it right away. We think, oh, I think my mom's here. Oh, I wonder what she's trying to tell me. And see, our head gets in the way right away. Our intellect starts thinking, oh, I wonder, did she say something to me? Oh, mom, and we block it all. And they're just standing there trying to have this communication with us. If we would just stop and just let them send their thoughts through, but we don't. We're usually like right in there trying to control the whole thing. Yeah.
So that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that doesn't do much good.
Defeats
No.
the whole purpose.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You wrote a book,
Mhm.
Hands That Heal.
Yes.
You want to tell us about that?
Yes, Hands That Heal. I love that little book. It's all the things that I have learned about spiritual healing over the last 25, 30 years. I keep it very, very simple for people, and I think that's probably my biggest complaint about healing over the last 10, 15 years, is that people have gotten it really complicated. And it's just very simple techniques people can use to do laying on hands healing, and there's pictures, and everything is covered from A to Z in that book. And the thing is, don't forget that it's God that's doing the healing. You're simply the channel that the healing energy is coming through, and just it's like, let God use your hands. That's really what you're doing.
What is the difference between a person who's a psychic, a clairvoyant, and a spiritual healer? What exactly is a spiritual healer?
Okay, a spiritual healer is somebody that was born with the gift of healing, and so they channel spiritual healing through their hands. A psychic is, there's a clairvoyant, which is somebody who sees pictures or images or visions. You get psychic information in the form of pictures. A clairaudient is someone who hears spirit or can discern the thoughts that are coming in. And a psychic, it depends. That's kind of a loose term. It could be, yeah, that's a tough one because palm readers call themselves psychics. I've seen astrologers call themselves psychics. I've seen clairvoyants, clairaudience call themselves psychics. So, nowadays, if people are going to a psychic, I always suggest asking the psychic, what kind of a psychic are you? How do you do your work? And get clarification from people. I
But
think
you
it's
could be
important.
taken by a psychic.
You can. Yes, you can.
That's great. What advice would you like to leave the audience with?
Well, if I think the one thing that I want people to know about ghosts is that they have more power than the ghosts, and that they can put their foot down. They don't have to move out of their own homes just because they've got a ghost in their house. That they can just demand that the ghosts leave now, and they can get rid of these ghosts themselves.
Wow. Echo, thank you so much for joining
Thanks,
me.
Barrie.
It's
Thank
been
you.
wonderful
Thank
having you.
Thanks.
I've learned so much about ghosts and
good.
ghost busting.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I hope you've learned something. In case something goes bump in the night, you know how to get rid of it. Look forward to hearing from you. Bye now.